Hi, we just finished meeting for intonation practice on July 24th, and we started with the question, what do you mean? Which in perfect writing would be, what do you mean? But in more casual English, what do you can change to what do ya? And we usually spell it like this or whatever. There's no rules for how to spell it if you want it. If you want to type it the way that it sounds, what do ya? But I'm spelling it this way to represent the sound. So I'm using UH to represent like the schwa, and the middle of the mouth is low and your tongue pulled back. As in up. So wada ya. All of those vowels just change to and the stress is on the question word what and the thing you're asking about mean. What do you mean? What do you mean? We can also use what do you or what are you in a shorter way, whatcha. So whatcha, the same sound. What you mean? What you mean? And this is examples of where this comes from. So what are you? When we make anything casual, we drop little helping verbs and forms of be. So now we have what you. And when you have a T and a Y next to each other, right here, now that changes to a cha. Whatcha, whatcha. If it's past tense, what did you? Now we can make kind of a contraction, would, um, and you can change you to ya, and now you have the D and the Y next to each other, and that creates a ja, would why is this happening? Because when you stop the airflow for what, the tongue comes to the front and blocks the airflow completely. What? And then when you have a Y coming up next, what you, if I try not to make a sound, what you. I'm lowering my tongue, it's high, what you. But if I start letting airflow go over my tongue while it's still pressing and coming down from the top of the mouth, what you, what you, what you, what you, what you. So you're blocking the airflow and releasing it. And that's where the cha comes from. And then the same exact process happens, but with voicing, and that's where the j comes from. Would, stopping the airflow with my D, j, j, and that's where the j comes from. What are you going to do? So we can say whatcha and going to, gonna do. What you gonna do? And that's where the Bad Boys theme became an example. What you gonna do when they come for you? And you can also look at Youglish and put any of these expressions in. If you type in what do you mean or what are you going to do, it will give you example after example of people saying these, and some of them might sound exactly like it looks. What are you going to do? Or it could sound more different. What you going to do? What are you going to do? So you'll hear a variety of different speakers in different contexts, sometimes more formal, sometimes more casual, but you can slow down the speed and hear the examples. Could you let me know what time you're leaving? Could you, the D and the Y, make a ja? And I have to use the symbol because there's no representation on my keyboard. Could ya? Could you let me? We don't have to say the T. Let me. Sounds like let me. You can put your tongue in the T position, let me, but you don't release the airflow, let. So let me. Let me know what time. There's two T's next to each other, so you hold the first one, what, and then release the second one, time. If you don't, it could have extra sound like what time, what time, and that's chop chop. So what time? Your, instead of your, you can make it a more casual you're leaving. So putting stress on lemme, time, and leaving. And I want that to go away. Here. Could you let me know what time you're leaving? Could you let me know what time you're leaving? Could you let me know what time you're leaving? It's a yes no question, so it goes up. Are you talking to me? Would be perfect, but we're not. Um, are you talking to me? Are you talking? I don't know why I made this capital because we're not doing it. Just are. Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me? Let me make this a yeah. Are you talking to me? You talking to me? I coulda. Now this is from could have and then contraction could've. And these are the ones that we can get rid of the V and make it an It's usually spelled with an A, but it really is an like a schwa, coulda. I coulda had class. I could have been a contender, and bena is going to connect. I could have been somebody. I could have had class. Class is really going to stretch out. I could have been a contender. I could have been somebody. And on the scene from the movie On the Waterfront, he's much more passionate than I am being right now. So you might want to watch it. Um, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore. I have a will connect. I have a feeling we're not in. She says not in. The T changes to a D. Kansas. She uses a little more air and a little more pressure. Kansas anymore. I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore. And there's the clip to The Wizard of Oz. If you'd like, we can meet at the library. If you'd like, this is a D and an L next to each other, which means because they're made in the same place, you put your tongue up for the D. If you'd like, that's it. If you'd like, well, I'm emphasizing like, if you'd like, we can meet at. The T changes to a D. Meet at. And I guess I should make this T kind of connect to the TH because you're not going to hear it. Meet at the library. If you'd like, we can meet at the library. What are you thinking about doing this weekend? All of those ings are going to change to in. And if you want to think of it as one, one, doin, it can be an or an I. So it can be or I, or as Amy suggested, even because it's going to keep your tongue lower. And she said it helped her to think of it as think can. And it's not going to, nobody's going to notice if you're saying Ken, like Ken and Barbie. Ken, think Ken, think gun, thinkin, doesn't matter. As long as it's not E, where your tongue is the very high position and the back of the tongue goes up for the NG combination, ing. And this one, the N is in the front and the middle of your tongue is lower. So now, what are ya? Instead of what are you or what are you, what are ya? What are you thinking about doing this weekend? And I just left off the D because you're not going to release the duh anyway. What are you thinking about doing this weekend? What are you thinking about doing this weekend? I did kind of go up on think, didn't I? What are you thinking about doing this weekend? And we didn't get to that one, so I'll leave that. And now I'll do them without chit chat. What do you mean? Or what you mean? What you gonna do? Or you can say, what are you gonna do? Could you let me know what time you're leaving? Are you talking to me? I could have had class. I could have been a contender. I could have been somebody. I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore. If you'd like, we can meet at the library. What are you thinking about doing this weekend? Okay, that's it. Thank you. It was good to see everyone, and I hope to see you next week. And I love hearing your comments that it's helpful. So please keep doing it. I hope if you keep finding them helpful, let me know because it's helpful for me to know that somebody's watching, I guess. Thanks, and have a good evening or day.